Hi, everybody. Welcome. This is Pamela Conley Ulick, and today is September 21st. I have interviewed 7 of the 8 all-male city council people running in Malibu for the city council. And I just wanted to give highlights of why I'm doing this. This is COVID times, and it's hard to campaign, let alone get out to meet people. I've asked all of these candidates how COVID has affected them personally and their campaign. It was interesting because nobody asked how it affected me. And I served on the Malibu City Council from 2002 to 2012, 8 years. No, 2004. To 2012. And these past few months, since March 11th, when the pandemic was declared, have changed my life, and my family has been hit very hard. My mom got COVID, and then she ended up, she's in a nursing home in Virginia, and she died 9 days later on May 5th. Recently, a family member has been diagnosed with COVID, and I'm in the middle of that right now. So since this has hit me so hard, I'm really practicing. I used to have fear. When the first COVID was announced, I feared, and I feared somebody would be affected in my family. I feared that death would happen, and it did. But since my mom has died on May 5th, my beautiful mom, Audrey, I'm going to dedicate my life to get rid of that fear, and I'm going to live with these. Faith, hope, and love. And that's how I'm practicing living. That's how I want to give back to my community. I want to let them know about these candidates. All male, not one woman. And as we all know, there was a great loss last Friday. Ruth Bader Ginsburg died. And her work was to make equal rights for all, men and women. And until and when our elected officials look like our population, it's really sad, because I do feel like equality, we're not there yet. So getting back to that today, it's affected me personally, COVID, but it's our community as well. And I'm hoping if there's one thing you guys get out of this today, if it's you buy this or order it online, this is an oximeter. And it will tell you your oxygen level. Mine is this way. It's 97, and my beats are 69. And COVID can cause hypoxia, where you're not getting a lot of oxygen, and you may not even know you have COVID. So I hope everyone gets this. So God forbid, if it gets below 90, your oxygenation level, you're going to call your doctor and deal with that. The other thing is, I hope everyone gets a thermometer reader. Mine is 98.2 right now. But that's the most important thing, is that you do a daily check-in with your health, your family's health, and you fight COVID, and we kick it. I'm embracing faith. I'm embracing love. I'm embracing being strong. So you'll see on this channel, I also have 7 of the 8 interviews done. I was able to interview Lance Simmons, Mark Wetton, Doug Stewart, Bruce Silverstein, Steve Uring, Paul Grisanti, and lastly, Andy Lyon. Current council member and former mayor Rick Mullen was unavailable. He emailed me that he's fighting the Bobcat fire, so hopefully we'll be able to get him in a conversation so people can see him up close and personal as well, sooner rather than later. I did ask about red flag warnings, what people would do as individuals, and what they would do if they were an elected official or mayor, if they would stay in the city, if they would leave. And it was really interesting to see their responses, which were varied. I asked questions like fire. If the city hall had to be evacuated, where would they go if they were an acting mayor? I asked if they supported a strong mayor system. I asked if they were aware of the VOP, Volunteers on Patrol, and CERT, and what they would do to either increase or decrease the city's involvement in those programs. You'll hear those answers. We discussed a lot with a lot of people, homeless issues and how to deal with that, PCH. It was interesting to me because when I asked them what their weaknesses were, some of them couldn't admit to any weakness. That to me is a red flag. Some said they had a weakness and they would address that. And I was very impressed with how the people who were open and honest about their weaknesses and how they worked through those and discussed them. And that's a quality that I'm going to look for when I make my decision. I also asked who they supported if they weren't running. Some refused to answer outright. Others had thoughtful responses. So that tells me a lot about people too. I asked about the emergency plan. Some people knew about it. I wanted to report, regardless, is the city, I sent the link to the emergency operation plan the city has to all of the candidates. We're going to have a neighborhood watch / Malibu Democratic Club discussion, conversation / debate on public safety and disaster and fire preparedness on October 3rd. That's going to be from 3 to 4:30 on Zoom. And so hopefully you can hear live people as they are addressing these issues. We're going to try and hopefully take some questions from the audience. So hopefully you'll be there and you'll ask questions. Tomorrow night, 9/22, there's a wildfire briefing from Battalion Chief Drew Smith on the City of Malibu website. So you can go to that. And more interesting is when I talked about the evacuation protocols and plans, people serving and running for office, many of them had no idea what the city was doing. I'm happy to report tomorrow or Wednesday night, 9/23, the evacuation zones are going to be discussed with from 6 to 7 p.m. on the City of Malibu website. I'll try and post a link about where you can get that information. It's going to be presented by Drew Smith, who's the battalion chief, and Jerry Vandermeulen of the city, the fire liaison. So that's where we are today. Today is the International Day of Peace, and I hope that we can all find peace within ourselves, within our community, and help each other. And I hope these conversations with the candidates will enlighten you and will get you to get interested in this race, this local race, and also the national race, and learn more. And maybe even a few of you will say, look, if they can run, I can run in 2 years, or I can run in 4 years. One of the things we're faced with that really deep down bothers me is when I served, there were always at least 2 women, and now there will only be 1, at least for the next 2 years. And for this foreseeable future, there will only be 1 woman out of the 5. And I don't think the Planning Commission has any women on it. So these are issues that really speak to me personally, and I'm hoping whoever's running will consider including others who may not look like them to represent Malibu and to be a voice for those people in Malibu who are not being represented. That's it for now. Thanks again to all the candidates. I do appreciate your sacrifice and your service and stepping up. You should all be commended. On November 3rd, whoever wins, loses, you have all stepped forward and stepped up. So I want to commend you all. And hopefully this will engage the community, empower the community to get involved, to know the evacuation plans, to know what you're going to do when the next red flag warning comes, to be prepared now and not wait until it's a red flag and the fire's coming or the earthquake's here. At the end of the day, that to me is the most important thing, to be prepared for the next disaster. Namaste. I hope you enjoy the content and have a great day. Thanks, everybody. Take care.